Year old there. I know how much on the iPad or on the computer, on TV or gadgets he is on. So that's another avenue, which is fantastic. I mean, look, the best thing that I heard was that you can actually send your videos, and when you have trained guys like a Mr. Vengsakar or someone else spotting talent, that's the first thing a coach does. That if you can spot talent in a young kid, that is what you want. And if you can send your video and get noticed, as I said before, it's not physically sometimes possible to reach a venue. And even if you reach, where there are thousands of kids, it's difficult. Sometimes, kid misses out. So it's going to help. I don't think there's any doubt about it. Look, he used to be there every evening. I think Vasu Paranpe was there at that point as well. I mean, you always have a chat. I don't know whether there's any incident. I was a batsman then, so it was a lot easier for me to have a chat with them at that point till I turned into a bowler. So, no, generally you speak about if you see something in your batting, or you want to try and get something out of a top player, and which is what you do. And when you've known him, I've known him for years now. So it's I can't think of one incident, but I can tell you the facilities there is, the quality of the facilities at the wickets. We enjoyed it thoroughly. I mean, all the hard work that was put in. No, it just happened. I don't think it was a decision. I think. Oh, I'm still playing under 19s, I think, or just after under 16s, and started bowling a lot more. Then only got noticed when I was 19 in a CCI game. Well, I was still a batsman predominantly, but one of those things. Worked there, not complaining. Not really. I mean, I think that's the action I've always had. I mean, obviously I had to get stronger as I played, because there were a couple of things which sort of led to injuries because of the action. But I didn't have a bad action, which worked in my favour. So it was much easier to take up bowling once I decided to. Any test tour is the most awaited battle these days. Yeah. Whether it's Australia, England, when you tour overseas, that's where you want to prove yourself as a player. Maybe you'd probably say for a bowler it's a little bit easier if you tour to Australia or England or South Africa, but it's not, because you've got to learn those conditions as well as a bowler. So any overseas tour, you ask any player that tours overseas, wants to prove himself away from home. You're familiar with these conditions. Although I'd rather bowl away from home than India, but so it's a tough tour. 5 tests is not going to be easy. England are rebuilding as well. Which might be a good thing for India. That is always going to be a challenge. There's always going to, when you have guys like a Tendulkar or a Dravid or Lakshman suddenly leaving and Sehwag not in the team, you're going to have, those guys have played over 100 tests. When you have top 4 of the 6 batters suddenly gone in the space of the last couple of years, you're going to have inexperience. But as I said, they've had, in spite of what people were saying, they've had reasonable tours of New Zealand and South Africa batting wise. So, they've gained experience than that. And sometimes with the IPL, you generally, maybe not the English bowlers, but you generally tend to play some good quality seam bowling or fast bowling day in, day out in the nets, which generally helps. It's going to be a tough tour. There's no doubt that it's not going to be magic and they're not going to win 5-0 or anything. But they've obviously gained experience because of South Africa and New Zealand.